All right, gentle boys.
The clap of authenticity.
Yeah, we're here doing another sitcom app. Listen, this is a classic cartoon. It might be, I don't know. It's not the oldest one. I don't know why I said that. We're doing South Park.
You know it. You love it. Trey Parker, Matt Stone.
Trey Stone.
Matt Parker.
Yeah, I don't know.
Matt Trey. Parker Stone.
Sure.
With a wonderful theme song by anyone?
By them.
Les Claypool of Primus.
Wow.
I don't know who that is, bro. I'll take your word for it.
Going down to South Park, gonna have myself a time.
Friendly faces everywhere, without temptation.
Going down to South Park, gonna kill a friend of mine.
Yeah. All right, guys. What's an A plot? South Park, you can really do like anything.
Should we keep it current?
Sure.
We got to do the Musk chip.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
Neurolink
Musk chip. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and you. Alright, okay. Yeah.
Neurolink.
I know who that one's going to. The Neurolink.
Riley, give me a B plot.
A B plot. Ooh, someone buys a pimpmobile.
Pimpmobile.
It feels like that's very South Park too.
Yeah. Wasn't there the Classy Mobile? Or there was the prostitute Classy?
Yeah.
And she was like, we got to take the Classy Mobile.
Uh-huh.
All right, C plot. I'm going to say start a podcast.
Oh.
Very topical.
Ha 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 ha.
That's great.
Get it? I get it.
All right, who's getting the Neurolink?
Mr. Marsh.
Yeah, I was going to say Randy.
Mr. Marsh is 1,000% getting the Neuralink.
Yeah.
And I think he's trying to convince Stan to get it.
Okay, Randy plus Stan.
Yeah, he's trying to sell Stan on the Neuralink.
Who's getting this Pimpmobile?
Cartman?
It could be Cartman,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's.
Does Cartman...
no
Wait, no.
idea.
Wasn't there an episode where Butters becomes a pimp?
Dude, I would say.
Butters and Cartman.
Yeah, Butters
Butters
and
and Cartman.
Butters and Cartman start like a weird like fourth grade pimping service where you get to
Well, that is a plot.
Oh yeah, fuck, you're right. That already is a goddamn plot. Okay, so we're gonna have to avoid that. There's too many episodes of the show.
Yeah. Start a pod. Is that Kyle?
Kyle and Kenny.
Yeah.
Kyle and Kenny. Yeah, that'd be funny.
Kenny's on a
Yeah.
pod. You can't hear anything he says.
All right, so Randy gets a Neurolink, and he's trying to convince Stan to get it. I mean, that right there is kind of just the plot. Is he just gets a Neurolink?
He tries to convince Stan to get
really
it.
Doesn't want.
Yeah, Stan. Yeah, 1,000%. It's like the episode where Stan or Randy stops drinking, and Stan's trying to convince him to start drinking again.
Yeah.
It's like that. Where Randy gets the Neuralink, and just instead of it being a positive, he just starts using it for all of the wrong reasons. It just becomes the most negative thing in his life.
I think Randy has to be against it at first. He's like, "There's no way." Like,
He sees it on the news. Like him and Stan are sitting there watching the news, and
Yeah.
they see it, and he's like, "That thing seems fucking stupid," or
yeah, he's
whatever.
like, "I'd never get that." And then they're like, "Oh, and you know, porn usage on the Neuralink
And it shows-
skyrockets."
In the preview, it shows someone watching the Denver Broncos game and porn next
Yeah.
to each other, and Randy's like, "Yeah, I'm sold."
Yeah, and then he gets the Neuralink, and he just stays in his room all day and like watches the Neuralink, and Stan's like, "Dad, you know,
Yeah.
you
He
gotta."
just stands like storming.
Stan
Yeah.
hasn't been at school in like 4 days because his dad hasn't taken him. He's just
Yeah.
been on the Neuralink.
Uh-huh.
He becomes a sentient being. He's just like hovering above the ground.
That'd be pretty funny.
He's
Yeah.
like 3 inches above the ground, just watching porn and
It's
football
like when
24/7.
Sheen gets really smart in Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, dude.
And
But
then-
instead of really smart, it just like sucks all of his brain energy out. He becomes just like a floating vegetable.
So Stan has to go to Elon Musk to like try and get him to like get his dad's soul back.
Yeah, because in this South Park, the Neuralink is not removable.
Yeah.
So Stan has to go to Musk to find out how to remove the Neuralink
Yeah.
from Randy, and then that becomes a plot of like him trying to get the Neuralink out of Randy.
Yeah, maybe like Elon has also been taken over by the Neuralink, and so Stan has to like save Elon.
Yeah.
I like it.
Elon's also a levitating sentient
Yeah.
porn football being.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah. He has to like
Just like
hit him
Wall-E.
down like
Yeah.
with a chair, and he like pulls a knife and he's like trying to like cut it
out of his head. Yeah.
Yeah.
And with Elon, he accidentally kills him trying to get the Neuralink out of his head.
Uh-huh.
So he learns his lesson that you can't just like stab it out of their head when he goes home to try and get it out of Randy.
Now Elon's dead, which is his only way of really figuring
Well-
out how
Right.
to do it for sure.
No, but maybe like Elon, like he cuts Elon's head open. Elon is like dying, and like in his last breath, he like tells him how to like stop it.
He's like,
Okay.
please don't stab anyone else's head that has a Neuralink like you did to me, you
Yeah.
fucking idiot.
Electrocution.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or whatever. And then so he gives Stan the secret of how to make Randy a normal guy again.
It's just shock therapy.
Yeah, it's electroshock therapy.
They just tape it, Randy, to the chair. Yeah.
They hook a car battery jumper up to Randy's nipples.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
He zaps down. He's, Stan, where have I been? Yeah.
Yeah, and he learns his lesson not to do the Neuralink.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he's like depressed for a week that he can't do
Neuralink
football games
porn.
and jerk off sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a consolation, Stan like gets him a hat and then puts like hangers on it that have like a piece of paper with a drawing of a naked chick and a
It's like
football, game.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, this is thank you, Stan."
Whenever he gets sad, he puts his hat on.
Yeah.
Still images.
It's like he's back there.
Yeah. Oh,
All right, cool,
all right.
that's good,
Hey,
yeah.
that's a rockin' A plot.
So Butters and Cartman and a pimp mobile.
So I think they're kids, right? So they can't
Right.
buy a car. They have to like stumble across it somehow, or like win it in like an auction or something. Like it has to be like given to them somehow.
Maybe they see a pimp like pull up in front of the school and they're like, "Oh, let's take
Let's
that
just
car."
take the car.
Yeah.
Butters and Cartman are. I like this idea. Think they're like being clowns and funny, and they're at like the sex shop in town,
Uh-huh.
like the lingerie and dildo store, and a pimp pulls up outside, and they're like, "We're gonna steal his
And
car."
he's like beating his bitch, and then they're like, "Oh, there's a free car. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
let's go take it."
yeah, he leaves the keys in his car to beat his bitch.
They want to go to Casa Bonita, but no one will take them. So
So,
they're
yes.
like, "We need a car."
So they steal the pimp
They
mobile
steal
to
the
go to
Pimpmobile.
Casa Bonita.
Yeah.
And when they get to Casa Bonita and they pull up in the pimp mobile, the valet service at Casa Bonita just thinks they're like rich pimps because of
Yeah.
their car. So they get like seated at the nicest
table,
table.
yeah.
They get valet service.
Uh-huh.
Cartman orders like 40 fucking tacos. And then it gets to the end of the meal and they can't pay for it.
Or the pimp leaves his wallet in the car, and so they take his credit card and shit.
And they're going on like a shopping spree with the pimp's credit card all day.
Yeah.
They spend like $1,500 at Casa Bonita.
Yeah.
They
Maybe
buy
one
like
of his bitches is in the car too, and so
they're
she
like treating
comes-
her to a nice day as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. They like buy tickets to the Broncos game. They like watch the football game
Yeah.
in town. And eventually like Butters' mom calls him or whatever and is like, "You have to come back up to South Park from Denver."
Uh-huh.
So they drive back at like 8 or 9 p.m. or whatever, and they pull into town and the pimp is like right at this stoplight. Like they pull into town and right at
Yeah.
the first red light, the pimp's standing there on the corner and he sees them in their car.
He's still beating his
It's
bitch
the
from
same,
earlier.
yes, the
Yeah.
same woman in the same exact
He
spot.
just realized his car was gone when he was
Yeah,
driving.
yeah.
Yeah, and they ditch the car, and then he sees the other bitch still in the car, and then he's like,
hell
You
no.
stole,
"You stole my
car." Yeah.
And he starts beating her too.
So Cartman and Butters get away with basically just like a day's free vacation in a
Yeah.
pimp
Yeah.
mobile down to Denver, all expenses paid, and there's a pimp just with one hand
Yeah, just beating both his bitches.
punching one bitch with each hand outside of
Good
a
plot.
sex shop. Yeah.
That's a really good plot.
Oh yeah.
And yeah,
like
Butters and Cartman just get off scot-free, go
Yeah.
home, and everything's cool, and they don't ever have to deal with the violent pimp.
Yeah,
That is a great.
that was
that's a
great.
good
I was a
plot.
little worried about this one, but I mean,
No, it rocked.
knocked out the fucking.
We
We knocked
rocked
it
it.
harder than a fucking pimp would knock a bitch.
Yeah, dude.
Back in.
All right, Kyle and Kenny start a pod.
Yes, sir.
What are the circumstances that lead a couple of boys to start a pod?
I don't know, Joe. You tell us.
I don't know. They're just like, we have so many opinions on things. Like, wouldn't it be cool if we had an outlet to like talk about?
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that direction. It's in character for them to be like,
Yeah.
I want to be heard. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and some,
And like Kyle can understand what Kenny's saying,
Yeah,
but no one who listens to the pod can
yeah. They
understand
get
what Kenny's
super
saying.
cyberbullied, and Kenny is like really depressed about it.
Mm-hmm. Because the podcast is basically just one person talking and then a pillow making noises.
Yeah.
So people that aren't Kenny and Kyle fucking hate the podcast. They think it's so dumb.
Yeah.
But Kyle, like, he understands Kenny, so he thinks it's fine. He thinks it's
Yeah.
cool. but then everyone just shits on them. Like, you have the worst pod ever.
Yeah. They're like,
You know, art imitates life.
Right, yeah.
And someone needs to have the worst pod ever when you got us out here having the best
honestly,
pod ever.
I mean, it goes like us, Joe Rogan, Call
Matt
Her
and
Daddy,
Shane.
Matt and Shane.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, they start getting bullied, so Kenny gets really, really depressed.
Yeah, and then Kyle is like,
But no one can tell he's depressed because you can't see his facial expressions.
No, but Kyle feels bad for him, so he's like, I gotta go talk to the top podcaster to see like how they deal with it.
So he
And
goes to Joe Rogan.
Yeah, he goes
This
to Joey
episode
Rogan.
has Musk and Jay Rogan in
Yeah.
it. It's a prototypical South Park episode, I feel
Yeah.
like. Yeah. So Kyle's got to go to Joe Rogan for podcasting advice.
And he's on the floor seizing because he also has an Neuralink.
He took too much ivermectin.
Yeah.
No, I like the idea that Joe Rogan is like seated at like a podcasting throne. You know, like in Game of Thrones, it's made of swords.
Yeah.
It's like made of mics.
That's pretty, yeah. that's
And
pretty
he's
sick.
just like this big buff creature
Yeah.
sitting at and Kyle has to like fight through a dungeon to get to him and shit. And it's
Yeah.
like this whole adventure of how to get to the king of podcasts.
He's like, who dares enter my studio?
The king's lair.
And he's like,
And
"I'm-
Kyle's
I'm
behind
here
a
to-"
layer of glass.
Yeah. He's like, I'm
Jamie,
here to see
Kill
like,
him.
what, like how to help my friend deal with like the comments. And he's like, eat some elk meat.
Give him some ivermectin. and have
Use
him
this thing you can chew on. It makes your jawline better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just pushing all his ads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Alpha Brain?
Yeah. Like, tell him to use code
Yeah,
Joe.
no, he takes Alpha Brain and Kenny can talk now.
Yes.
Like, clearly.
He gives him Alpha Brain to give to Kenny.
Yes,
and Kenny
my
can
son.
speak through his hoodie.
Yeah, so by the end of the
Alpha Brain,
episode,
dude.
Kyle and Kenny become like
telepath.
Yeah.
they become like full on like alpha pod bros.
Yeah.
And their podcast becomes a huge success.
Mm-hmm. And they start hanging out with people like Andrew Tate and like that crowd and stuff. So like Cartman and like Stan don't want to be around them anymore.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the episode, they realize like their egos have gotten too big and they need to go back to their roots and be friends with Cartman and Stan again. So they stop taking the Alpha Brain.
Yeah.
But then it leaves them all like withered and weak.
Yeah.
Like malnourished children after they stop taking Alpha
Like
Brain.
bottles of Pedialyte
Yeah.
just empty on the floor.
Stopping the Alpha Brain makes them viciously sick.
It's a pretty good app.
I think
I
that
like
is a
this
pretty
app.
good app.
So Randy gets a Neuralink. He's watching porn. He's watching the game
24/7.
24/7.
He
Stan
becomes-
has enough of it.
A sentient football porno being,
He kills Elon in order to learn the secrets of the Neuralink.
which is just electroshock therapy.
Yeah. And then he goes back to normal. Butters and Cartman, they have a day on the town with this pimp's money.
Well, he's beating his
While
girl
he's beating his bitch.
for like 7
4
hours.
to 9.
Yeah. All day long.
And then Kyle and Kenny start a pod. They become Joe Bros. They become
Rogan
Rogans.
Bros. After Kyle seeks out Rogan's help to make Kenny a better podcaster.
Yep.
They're given Alpha Brain.
But then they get tired of the Alpha Bro ways, and they become lame again.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike us, because we're a real podcast, Joe Rogan Bros.
And we take Alpha Brain.
We take Alpha Brain. We eat elk meat. We go bow hunting. We do all the cool shit.
Yeah. I take ivermectin.
Yeah. But I'll play the pimp in this app. You
I'm
guys-
behind a pane of glass
No,
right now.
I'll play Joe Rogan. You guys can decide who plays the
you
pimp.
Can be Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I'll play Joe
Who
Rogan.
do you want? You want Muskie or the pimp?
Dude. I'll be Muscarino.
Okay, I'll be the pimp.
All right.
Tommy Two Hands.
Tommy Two Hands. You're a white pimp.
White pimp, Tommy Two Hands.
I'm like now recalling what I just signed up for. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if that's my role.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Big peace.
Big piece.